Hey guys, it's RockTheGolem, and welcome back to the Town of Light. We just finished having a flashback about Renee basically being assaulted by the exact same man that brought her into the asylum, stripped her of her clothes, and actually took her doll. So now we're trying to figure out where to go. That was a weird sound. That's the sound that happened last time. Like, I figured the gynecology room because, you know what? Shit was in the way here last time. We couldn't get in here, so this is where I want to go. Although the sound effect did come from that direction, but hey, what can you do? Doors will open up, and I can go around this way as well. Looks like, Jesus. That's the gynecology chair, huh? Ladies, what do you think of that in comparison to what you would have to deal with nowadays?
August 21st, 1938.
Oh, this one's actually voice acted.
Dear A, I know what you think about these things, so I'm referring a patient to you, Renee T. This wretched girl got out of control and caused trouble in the grounds. She's almost 3 months pregnant. The nurses should be more alert. I'm examining the girl on the 28th. I'll handle things very carefully, don't worry. We don't want to make matters worse.
So,
Then they said that Renee was crazy, and that the illness was all in her head. Careful, little girl, careful. I was scared, and I didn't talk to anyone about the illness. Only her. Not even the other doctor. He never touched Renee. He just wrote things down.
which is smart.
You can tell me everything. Don't be afraid, he said. Everything's going to be fine. Do you want to know what I am writing? I note down what I observe in you, everything I see.
Which is what?
He didn't hate Renee. He tried to help her, but he rarely examined her in those small surgeries.
Small surgeries, huh? Okay, still no records. There shouldn't be a new... Whoa. Oh, I was trying to say chapter 5, so let me go back. No new memories, but the experience is there. Okay. So, small surgeries. That kind of concerns me because, I mean, we've seen, stuff like this. Like, Oh, Jesus Christ. What is all this now? Like, we've seen stuff like this floating around of, like, all different, like, diagrams about how to examine, the human body and, like, procedures and things like that. So, like, did they, like, cut into her and, like, run experiments on her? I hope none of this gets flagged for, adult content or whatever. There is some stuff that I do need to censor out and whatnot because it is, a bare woman. But even though the image is pretty well, like, covered up by the game itself. How do I back out of this thing? Hello? Let me out, please. Uh-oh. All right, so the game glitched out on me, unfortunately, so I had to reload it. I'm not even sure where I am right now because it dropped me off over here in front of Surgery C. So I feel like... Yeah, I feel like this is where I was supposed to go after reading the paper about her. Oh, look, looks like Nokon and Nicole are actually going to be playing some Resident Evil for a Coco Party. But yeah, so it looks like this is the direction I was supposed to have gone in. For whatever reason, though, the game wouldn't let me escape. Anything about the phone? Nope, nothing special. Okay. So something about here is important. Well, here we go.
March 12th, 1938. Renee T., 16 years
Ah,
old.
this has got to be like my first
Minarchy,
medical paperwork.
Aged 12. Housewife. Father unknown, mother a seamstress. Admitted in observation yesterday morning from Pontedera, accompanied by a police officer authorized by the examining magistrate of the Court of Pisa to be admitted for a psychiatric evaluation, which I have carried out. Medical certificate. Mental illness preceded by warning signs. Has suffered from depression for a year, believing she had tuberculosis. Food deprivation. We can't read this document. It is forbidden. We mustn't. If they find out, there will be trouble.
It's fine. It talks about Renee. It talks about you, so we have to read it. Don't be scared. Nothing will happen to you. That's true. We should not read it. Don't be scared. Nothing will happen to you.
We have to look for Amara. We must hurry.
Oh, that
We
must
have
be
to
the
follow
smiling girl?
memories and make sure they don't fade.
Fair enough. Go on.
She is frightened, hears noises and ghosts. presents serious signs of anxiety psychosis, suffers from hallucinations. She is anxious, confused, her expression is distressed, a questioning look as if terrified, disoriented. She feels confused, hears voices shouting in her head. She doesn't understand things properly. She has been feeling unwell for 2 or 3 months. When
I assume that's because
questioned, she
she's pregnant.
replies, "My mother wants to hurt me. I am always scared of her. She chases me." "Why are you here?" "I argued with my mother and was so upset that I felt like my head was spinning.
Alright, so she's
There
definitely
was
not
a
mute
woman
then.
there who wanted to force me into a life of prostitution. They wanted to
Huh.
condemn me to be burned at the stake. Children whispered, called my name."
Interesting.
March 16th. She couldn't sleep last night. They wanted to condemn her to be burned at the stake. April 4th. Transferred to the calm ward, still under my supervision. Yes, that's true. The ward where Amara was. Yes, the stake. The children wanted to burn Renee. She had to pay for what she'd done, like witches at the stake.
Huh. So is Amara the woman that was smiling that like comforted Renee, or what's going on? Was this what frightened you? They were just hallucinations. What had you done to deserve to be punished? Yeah, what had you done?
April 21st. She's
All right,
only
good.
awake
Let's
this
continue on
morning
reading.
and is responding to questions, complains of headaches. She became agitated when she found out her mother was there. She says that one day, many years earlier, she was with a friend of hers and met a man who made her get into a car and took her for a ride. He made her smoke cigarettes and drink liquor, and the man showed her certain things.
Jesus.
He tried to hurt her and made her go crazy. She says he promised to marry her and made her swear to keep what had happened a secret. These facts were essentially confirmed by her mother. After that, she became arrogant, impatient, and hostile towards her family, especially her mother.
Wow.
She started taking off her clothes in public. Her moods would swing from laughter to tears. She rants. She pleasures herself. I can't remember these things, only the guilt, the stake. I know I deserved to pay for that guilt. I knew it even then.
No, she didn't. Like, this is like, she was psychologically traumatized, physically traumatized as well. Like, literally, her mind just kind of like broke. Let's look for the rest of the clinical diary to understand. Everything will become clear. You deserved it because you tried to hide it from yourself. Jesus, no way. The clinical diary. Everything will become... Yeah, let's look for the rest.
She was uncooperative during the examination. She didn't want to be stripped and her body remained rigid. Voluntary attention almost totally absent. Probable hallucinations. April 25th. Confused ideas. Unable to maintain a spontaneous conversation. Reflexes all normal. Reactive pupils. Let's find Amara, and we'll find the full medical records.
All right, that works. All right, so... Oh, achievement of Chapter 5. Again, I don't know how many chapters there are, but... it doesn't tell me anything about who this person might have been. Also, I think that's a diploma anyway, or a medical license or something. But why would you leave that there? So now we have to find Amara. Surgery B. We didn't actually have a chance to go through these rooms.
June 1935.
Oh, here we go.
After much theorizing and practice in clinics for the privileged, the moment for action has finally arrived. Volterra is the right place. It's an avant-garde hospital, the perfect place for a doctor who really wants to make a difference.
Yeah, I'm sure they really
20th.
did.
Crossing the threshold of the asylum was similar to entering another dimension. A world of smells, noises, and images which it is almost impossible to imagine, describe, or explain. August 1936. The situation is similar to that in many other institutions. The department is overcrowded. Hundreds of patients are supervised by a handful of nurses who are forced to tie the more distressed ones to their beds or to radiators. They do 24-hour shifts. It's impossible to work like this. We doctors rarely see the female patients, and it's the nurses who tell us what's happening to the women.
Yeah, which is why they weren't getting the treatment they needed.
The overpowering stench in the wards, the constant din of shouts and voices that are barely recognizable as human, dirty, naked bodies devoid of any dignity. The lunatic asylum gets under your skin and wears you down. I often consider resigning. I feel useless, impotent, a sort of merciful jailer, a mercy that helps no one and only helps to ease my conscience. March 15th, 1938. Dramas are played out before my eyes every single day, and I try to distance myself from them and just do the best I can. But a girl arrived some days ago. I couldn't avoid her gaze. All she asked in her dignified silence was not to be ripped away from her world. And me. I'm old enough to be her father, the father she never had, who didn't want her, who rejected her without even knowing her. I too refused what she asked me. I couldn't do anything but add my signature and consign her to hell. A danger to herself and to others, and a cause of public scandal. This was what was written on the accompanying note from the police headquarters. It was difficult not to agree with it. How much more violence must this poor girl be subjected to? Her gaze is so intense, so far removed from the carefree nature which should be the joyous hallmark of her age. I cried myself to sleep in my solitude. I kept thinking about those sad and frightened eyes staring at me.
Well, doesn't seem like I'll have to be doing much talking on this episode of the playthrough, but I gotta admit, me doing like voice acting and doing my own video and audio editing and everything, excuse me, I've become a bit of an audiophile, and literally listening to her talk, all I could hear, in addition to what she was saying, obviously, but all I could hear were like the crackling sounds of her tongue from like maybe like having her voice and her mouth being like too moisturized. Oh, this is where I found Charlotte. Okay. And like, I forget what they're called, but it's one of those, videos that people do where they get really close to the microphone so you can hear like every wet, juicy noise that their mouth makes. And it just drives me nuts to hear something like that, because like that's something that as a voice actor you would not want to have on your audio track. But hey, I mean, I'm not the one that made the game. We already saw this. I need to see this again. But then again, I also don't know where I'm going. But hey, maybe I gotta go get Charlotte. But yeah, just hearing that, like, it kind of drove me a little crazy just listening to it. I'm like, I don't want it. Make it stop. Make it stop. Okay, no, Charlotte's still squared away. We have to find Amara, is what Renee was saying. But where the hell do we find Amara? I know they mentioned about the comm ward. That's still locked, though. I can't run, I can't jump, so I can't make this really go any faster. We just came from these ones, right? Yeah, so B and C are now open. Okay. Let's head back down to the first floor again and see if we can find anything, because maybe now that other hallway has been opened. Which I think is this direction? Yeah, because that one's already wide open. We didn't open up this one. Nope, it's still locked. That's locked as well. Okay, nothing over there. I know we're supposed to be exploring the asylum and everything, but a little help. Oh, you know what? You press H for help.
The grounds at the back of the hospital, and then down to the kitchens.
At the back of the hospital. The grounds at the back of the hospital. Does that mean I have to go outside? So, out and around then? Grounds at the back of the hospital, and then down to the kitchens. Okay. Oh, nope, I can't leave, so that is not the direction to go in. I'm glad they threw in that helpful little help me feature. So the ground. Okay, so I'm here, so I got to go out to the right. Those would be the grounds. Maybe. Oh, actually, I don't think this is the right way. Yeah, that's just a little side hall. Through here. All right, I'm trying to get to the grounds, guys. God damn it. There we go. Okay, so I'm about to head out to the grounds, but I do have to end this episode here first. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you all very much for watching. If you like what you've seen and heard, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And having said all that, I will see you all on the other side. Take care.